Hey everyone, this is Diane, She Prompts. How are you doing? Now, I wanted to actually share something with you, especially in relation to a previous live that I'd done where I talked about GoDaddy. Now, if you missed that, that's no problem. I'll go back into that. Now, GoDaddy has, along with other platforms, have this feature where they basically tell people, just give us a site that you want, we'll make it for you. Great. However, what we're seeing here is the GoDaddy services agreement. And the reason I go to GoDaddy specifically because I have experience with GoDaddy a little bit from years back before this whole AI revolution started. And I also have had experience dealing with all of a sudden without cause or without specifying any reason termination. I've gone through both of those, and GoDaddy has this in the terms and agreements that people just blindly, myself included, that blindly just agree to without really thinking about it. So my whole point is that if you have something built on GoDaddy and they decide that you have been doing something suspicious or is being misused, they can basically stop it right there without any cause, without any kind of specifying the reason for termination. So while because you are a digital tenant for GoDaddy, you are extremely vulnerable to their whims, fancies. I'm not saying that they're whimsical, but I'm just saying that if anything goes wrong, they won't have to tell you about it. You don't have to know. Your site will be terminated. Whatever you may have built up on that site will all of a sudden be compromised. It's always a good idea to back up your stuff if you're on sites like this, but it's even a better idea to really and truly try and create your own platform. And I actually go over that in my private press, basically $0 hosting, and how I am building this site and I have not paid for hosting. $0 in hosting. So in building the site, I go through a lot of changes. I want to see how the site performs. Now, the performance is very important because these days it takes people 2 seconds to look at your site. And if it doesn't really load in 2 seconds, second three, that person will be gone. That's basically how it is. You want to be able to not only attract people, but keep them there, or at least have them get all the information in front of them within 1 to 2 seconds so they can make a decision as to whether they can stay with you or not. Part of this is performance. Now, I want you to keep an eye on this number. This number right here, it fluctuates depending on the performance of the internet, not your computer, but the performance of the internet. If there's a lot of traffic, it may go down. If there's a lot less traffic, it'll go up. In fact, this has gone up for me to 90. This has gone down to 80 a couple of times when I've checked it. This part right here is the part that I admit I am not very good at. While I was sitting there and I was building for best practices, SEO, performance, all of that. I kind of let the accessibility fall to the back burner, and it's something that I definitely just wanted to share with you, and I wanted to take the time to go over this with you. Now I'm on a site called PageSpeed.web.dev. You can go ahead and check your site speed, and the reason again why I'm very keen on people just creating their own sites on a platform like Save or Sell or even Firebase, which is what I use, is because whenever you do a page speed, sometimes those sites have a lot of code that is very clunky and it will affect your performance, your accessibility, best practices in SEO. And there's only so much you as the digital tenant can do to improve those scores. Whereas if you have your own site that you've created from scratch and paying $0 hosting, you can go into the code and adjust it however you need to adjust it, play around with it. You have access to all the code. You own all the code. It is your site. You are basically, you're not a tenant. You are I guess, a sovereign owner of that little part of the internet. So it's very important to make sure that these are actually pretty decent, and they're decent, but I want them to be better. So I'm going to try and see if I can get the accessibility part and maybe the performance part a little bit better while I have you guys here. Okay, first things first. I'm going to actually copy this into my AI and I'll show you this particular. Let me actually go down here and do this. Yeah, let me do this right here. Ooh. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's it. You can see here I passed 19 audits, which is always good. Layout shift. So I'm very proud of that, actually. I'm very proud of that. But of course, that the accessibility and maybe the performance would be something that I would need to work on. So I'm going to go through, hold on a second. Okay, so now I am in my web performance audit and optimization roadmap. This is basically a roadmap that I created using this prompt here, where I have, the role as a web architect, performance strategist, and that particular role is going to help me to improve my page performance over time. And I want to see if I can actually bring either the 80, maybe the 80 will jump on its own, but if I can bring the 87 up to something a little bit better, I know I'm on the right track. I probably just need to play around with it a little bit more, but I wanted to show you what can be done here. All right, so let's go in and copy and paste this part. And I'm also going to paste in my JSON file. Hold on a second. Yeah, I'm going to paste on my JSON file. Now I am going to give you, if you guys decide that you want this particular prompt, if you type the word audit, AUDIT, in the comments to this video, if you're on Facebook, I will definitely be able to DM that for you. Not a problem. On YouTube, I'll include the prompt in a comment on the video. Just go ahead and look for that. I'll pin the comment to the video. So for those on Facebook, again, just type AUDIT and I will DM you this prompt. And I'm going to find my JSON, and I'm actually going to drop it here. So there it is. So I'm going to add to this right here. Okay. I need help fixing my accessibility. My performance fluctuates between 88 and 90, but my accessibility needs to be better. Here's the data. All right, so it's going to go through and take a look at this. So it's giving me the low-hanging fruit, which is basically something that can be fixed quickly and hopefully get me a little bit more brownie points with page speed. So we have here long chain paint, largest contentful paint. So I do have I have a lot of Gumroad embedded Google Fonts, Firebase in there. Nearly 93%. Okay, so another thing, yes, I do have alt text in my JSON file, which is extremely important for accessibility so that people can understand what they're seeing, or they can read. If they can't see the image, they can read what the image is about. All right, so it's saying that the strategy is to optimize how the JSON is handled. And it's now telling me, let's see. Okay, so for this one, replace the current article injection logic with the sovereign approach, which is my approach, semantic H5. Okay, so I'm going to have to go through, and it doesn't specify which file it is, although I think I have an idea of which file it is. So if for any chance you happen to get something like this saying you need to go to this file, then you need to say, tell me which file it is specifically. So, and ask to be specific so you know which file you're going to be editing so you don't wind up crashing your site. Pre-connect assets. Okay, so this is basically like loading. Yeah, it's kind of like what they call a lazy loading situation, which means that the first page is going to just load a little bit faster because it doesn't really change that much. And I have that in there, and then the other pages will take however long they take, but the first page is going to be the one that's going to be changed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go through it. I'm going to be specific on this one. For example, it says, okay, which file am I changing the HTML5? For A, which file do you mean needs to be changed? Be specific. I'm going to put, is it HTML? Is it my index? Or specific article files? So it's telling me I need to change my index HTML file. And I don't need to change anything specifically in my article. Okay. So if you're one of those people who, is not really used to changing HTML, what you can do is you can go and say, look, here's my HTML file. Go ahead and do it for me. While I am one of those people, I can go through and edit my file. I'm going to take the lazy way out. I admit it is not the best, but it is what it is. So I'm going to actually copy paste that and say, here is my, and it also has a tendency to take a look at the files and see what changes need to be made. My HTML. And hold on a second. Take a look and make the necessary changes. And I'm going to put in there because I've had experience with this. I said, do not crash my site. This page is connected to a lot. It's connected intricately. And I want my page to work more optimally. Look and see what minor adjustments can be made. Make them and give me the file to download. While it's doing this, oops, right there, got it. While it's going ahead and doing this, I'm actually going to back up my current index file. And it's also as a precaution, I would recommend that you do the same as well, because if you can actually go ahead and copy your file and kind of keep them as like the last known good is what I like to call it, then I have something that I can work with. Index copy, great. Okay, let's take a look at what he says. To optimize your infrastructure, okay. So it's telling me that it's actually pointing to another file specifically. Okay. All right, eliminated downvote. So here's the modified file. So again, I'm not too scared to actually go ahead and change this out because I've copied my index file that actually works. So it's giving me the full index file that I'm just going to copy right now. Must be updated to include. Okay, so let me go ahead and copy this. Okay, and it says my article loader, so I'm going to go ahead and upload that particular file as well. Let's see. Mondify. Uh, And now since I'm done that, I'm actually going to do the same thing. I'm going to make this I'm going to back this up. And I'm going to name it, I'm going to keep it as copy, not a problem. So it's already optimized the file. And here's the fix. Again, the lazy loading, which is what I recognize from what it was telling me. And we've got the article loader. Great. So I'm going to go ahead and download this. Again, I have my original article loader saved. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through Firebase. I'm going to deploy it, refresh the page, and let's see if my score goes up, down, or sideways. Okay, great. Now the changes that I've made, I'm not going to be able to see unless the site crashes, and then I'll see it just fine. So I'm going to take the chance and go ahead and do a hard refresh. Please work. Yay. Sometimes you just have to pray to the gods of websites. All right, so basically, let's see how this is affected now that I've gone through. And again, if you are interested in getting the actual, in getting the site, the web architect prompt, go ahead, put audit in the minutes if you're on Facebook. And if you're on Facebook, and again, I will just pin the comment or pin the prompt to the comment to the video on YouTube. But I am very wow. Okay, now I used to be 100% best practices and now I'm not, but I'm 100% SEO, which is great. But still, I am all green, so it's all good. So the changes that were recommended really helped my site. My contentful paint went down by 0.4 seconds, but it's still kind of a little bit high. And I'll work on that through time, but I just wanted to show you guys how you can go ahead and make those modifications with the help of AI if you have the ability to really do that for your own site. Now, if you are on, GoDaddy or whatever, see what you can do. Just basically come up and run the page speed test, and then put in the prompt, come up with your own thing, it'll make the recommendations based on what you can do. But just don't be surprised if what you can do won't necessarily give you that push, because the site that the actual code that you can't get to is the problem most of the time, if not all the time. And there's no way for you to modify that, or you wind up, infringing on copyright and trademark and all this other stuff. So again, this is a great way for you to take a look and see how your site's doing. And if you are inclined to really go ahead and build your own site on your own for $0 hosting, which means you don't have to pay for hosting yet, until you hit some ridiculously high number. And then by that time, you can definitely upgrade to that. But for right now, if you're able to go ahead and migrate your site and you're ready to do that, go ahead and put audit in the comment. And not only will you get the prompt, but I'll also give you the link to the full blueprint of how to really build your site for $0 hosting, and how I've done it. And you can even do your own newsletter like I have. I haven't used MailChimp in years. I don't even remember what MailChimp looks like. I'm lying, but yeah. Okay, so thanks for your time, everybody, and I'll see you in the next stream.